From the heart of Central Kentucky, it's time to hear directly from the candidates who want to represent you. Malcolm Jones, Carrie Gribbins Truitt, Stephen Carney, Ben Mudd, James Victory, Lynn Shelburne, Dallas Robinson. This important community conversation is made possible by Hayden Materials, the Lebanon American Legion Jim Bob Moore Post 49, the Nelson County Democratic Party, Washington County Democratic Party, Marion County Democratic Party, and Nelson County Republican Party. Now, let's take you to the forum at the historic Opera House in downtown Springfield on G&G On Demand.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the historic Opera House in downtown Springfield. As G&G On Demand and G&G Productions, we proudly present to you this year's political forum. We're going to be talking to candidates that are going to be participating in the May primary, and also our focus this evening will be on the 14th District State Senate race that's coming up. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hal Good. John Graves joins me here this evening, and John, a good crowd on hand here, and just a great crowd of candidates are here for this event.
It is. We were blessed to have a good crowd. You know, this is something we kind of put together the first time we've kind of jumped into a foray with this, and we're excited about the turnout. We're excited about the information that we're going to be able to provide tonight. You know, it takes a special kind of person to put your name on a ballot and put yourself out there in politics. I appreciate everybody that has done that statewide, and appreciate the ones who were able to join us tonight to share their thoughts about the vision of where Kentucky is going to go.
We're going to get things started this evening, and we're more than glad to have this group here with us tonight. We ask everyone here in the Opera House to please stand as we welcome, with a presentation of colors, the Marion County Honor Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask John McDaniel, pastor and veteran, to join me for our prayer. John?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to this time, ask your blessing upon this meeting tonight, that your Holy Spirit will just intercede in everybody's behalf, that we will realize what we need more than anything else in Kentucky and America and the world is we need peace. And God, we ask you to just bless this event, that these candidates will come and share their heart and what they stand for, that, Father, that we might know where we need to be with thee. So bless them, bless this event. We give you all praise, honor, and glory for it. In Jesus' name, I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Gentlemen, post colors. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd join me in our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marion County Honor Guard. Let's give them a round of applause here inside.
Part of our program tonight is the ability for some of our local candidates that are not running for Senate to introduce themselves so that you can learn a little bit more about them. Before we get to that, we would like to have Chris Essex, Mayor of Springfield, to do a short welcome once we get him kind of set. Mayor Snappy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our historic downtown in the Opera House. for this event. It is great to see the turnout that we've had and we're going to have, especially on the online service as well, provided by G&G. You know, tonight is a great way to show that we're here to listen to not only the candidates, but the issues. Regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, we are still a community. Now, with all this going on, tonight I just ask you to listen, understand very carefully what these candidates going to talk to us about tonight, because this is part of the democratic process, and it's very way to show that you can be a most informed voters when you show up in May at the primaries and then on into November. So again, thank you and welcome to Springfield.
Thanks to Springfield Mayor Chris Essex. Let's give him a round of applause, everyone here. Our county welcome this evening will be by Washington County Judge Executive Tim Graves.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming out. I know everybody's been welcome to Springfield and to the Historic Opera House. Well, let me welcome you all to Washington County, Kentucky. I'm the county judge here and give you a little bit of facts about our county. It's a little history lesson, if you will. In 1792, when Kentucky became a state, Washington County was the first county to declare to be a county, incorporated as a county. So that's why we're Washington County, named after the first President of the United States. I'm sure no one here knew that, so that's why I thought I'd bring that to the light. So again, welcome, and echo what Chris said a lot. It takes a lot of courage for these individuals here on both sides of me right now to put their name on the ballot. I've been there, I've done that. And when you do that, you expose yourself to the public, you expose yourself to public scrutiny, and when you campaign, what's said about you is heard by your family, whether it be hurtful or joyous. So just know that the candidates here are in it for the right reason. If they didn't, they wouldn't put their name on the ballot. So be respectful of their views, regardless of whether you agree with them or not. That's why we're America. If we're all alike, it'd be a boring place. But welcome. I'm so proud of G&G for doing this for our community to get the word out. And I thank for you all to be here. And on a serious note, these candidates sitting right here, thank you all for being willing to put your service forth, because it's a challenge. I ran a race to win a countywide election twice. Y'all have 5 counties. I can't imagine. So my hat's off to you. Don't have a hat with me. But I want you all to know, whoever wins this election in November, I'm your new best friend. And I will help you go to Frankfurt. I'll go along with you all, whoever wins. So know this. I know that you all are going to do the best job you can do, and that whoever wins will do the best they can do for this district. And that's how I do things in Washington County. I don't really care a lot about Democrats or Republicans. I care about people from Washington County. And I want to help the people in my county. When somebody calls my office and say there's a tree across my road, I'm going to say, well, is it a Democratic tree or a Republican tree? That's not the question we have. It's the service, regardless. And we're all human beings, and be kind. Be kind, please. Thank you again, and welcome.
Thank you, Judge. Again, this is Washington County Judge Executive Tim Graves.
Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the issue. Is that where we're going?
We're going to take a quick time out as we
Okay.
get going. We're going to keep things rolling. We do appreciate that you are tuning in this evening. This is a political forum. We're at the Opera House, which is located in downtown Springfield. We've got more to come, much more. It's all part of this political forum, which is on G&G On Demand.
Building Kentucky for over 70 years, Hayden Materials has been the trusted name behind the Bluegrass State's growth. From commercial and industrial developments to residential projects and major infrastructure, we provide the asphalt and stone products that keep Kentucky moving forward. At Hayden, we take your project from bare earth to a finished, high-quality surface, offering crushed stone of all sizes, asphalt paving for projects big or small, and complete site preparation, including excavation and grading. Call Hayden Materials today for your free estimate. Hayden Materials, building Kentucky from the ground up.
At American Legion Post number 49, Jim Bob Moore in Lebanon, we honor our veterans and their service to our great country. Whether you're looking for food, friendship, or fellowship, you'll find it here. And if you're feeling lucky, try your hand at one of our 20 electronic pull-tab gaming machines. Stop by and see us at 541 West Main Street in Lebanon, or call 270-402-3732 for more information. American Legion Post number 49, where veterans come together.
Welcome Welcome to Springfield, Kentucky. Steeped in tradition and heritage, our illustrious past has given birth to a wide selection of events and attractions which are yours to enjoy and long remember. Springfield, where the Lincoln legacy began. Abraham Lincoln, Springfield's hometown hero, our nation's 16th president. We've got it all: recreation, the arts, history, bourbon, horses, and especially hospitality. Hometown proud. Visit Springfield, where history meets hospitality.
Did you know you can now watch G&G Productions and on demand on your favorite devices? That's right. We're streaming on Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Catch every moment online at gng.live or follow the action live on Facebook and YouTube. Wherever you are, we've got you covered. G&G Productions, your news, sports, and community activities brought to you live and free.
Welcome back to the Opera House in downtown Springfield. Hal Good, along with John Graves, G&G On Demand. Glad to be a part of this forum that we're having this evening. Been a lot of talk about it. We're glad for the turnout. And also, if you are watching this, John, we remind everybody, like and share this. It does get the message out.
And that's what it is. It's out there for you to go back and watch as many times as you want to. We told the candidates earlier, feel free, cut and paste. Our cameras are pretty good. The lighting here that's provided by the Opera House has been excellent.
Let's get started. We're going to introduce you now to some of the candidates for the May 19th primary. John?
Our first candidate that we're going to meet tonight is for running for the Kentucky House 55th District, Nathan Saucedo.
Hello, my name is Nathan Saucedo, and I am a licensed clinical social worker and a longtime therapist, and I am in senior administration in a community mental health center where I have worked for over 30 years. I'm a lifelong Kentuckian, and I have dealt with individuals that have extreme issues, and I've helped them navigate some of the most difficult times of their life. Some of the things that I've done in working in healthcare has assisted me in having a better understanding of some of the things that need to happen as far as accessibility and also as far as providers and helping regulate insurance and medications. The costs are outrageous, and as far as the entire economy goes now, some of the things that I have on my platform are discussing accessibility to healthcare, housing, and also to have a clear, transparent voice. I feel that in the 55th that we have been lacking transparency for quite some time, and my agenda is not to amplify my voice, it's to amplify the voice of the people of the 55th. It is important that you are heard, and it's important that communities are making decisions instead of having people make decisions for communities. It is time for us to all get together and support one another and have bipartisan cooperation across the aisles to make things happen for the people of the 55th, and I'm here for that. I don't think I can complain if I don't have a solution, and I am very solution focused, and my solution is to run and to be your voice and to make it as loud as possible. Thank you very much, and I hope I have your support.
Justin Hatchett is the Republican candidate for Washington County Magistrate in District Number 2.
Hello, my name is Justin Hatchett, and I'm a lifelong resident of Washington County, and I have a wife and 3 kids, and we were raising in the county, and I'm very proud to be from Washington County, and so that's why I'm running for Magistrate in District 2 for Washington County as a Republican. I hope to get in, and I'm proud of our county, and I hope that to be a part of keep moving forward and do what I can for the future of Washington County and my kids. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Richie Hamilton. He is a Democrat. He is running for Washington County Magistrate District Number 4.
Good evening. My name is Richie Hamilton. I'm running for Magistrate in District 4 on the Republican ticket. I'm a longtime resident here of Washington County. I'm married to my wife, Crystal, for 18 years. All my kids are grown, and they moved on, and that's all I can ask for. I'm running on the ticket because what I want to see is I want to see transparency. I want to be able to listen. I want to be able to focus. I want to be able to be accessible and accountable in the position as magistrate. here in Washington County. It's my home, and I want to represent my home to the best to my ability. So as your magistrate, you know, you have to focus on all the issues that come along. So by that being said is that each resident here in my district is my concern, and I want to be a voice for District 4. Thank you, and I humbly seek your vote for magistrate in District 4.
We now welcome Ronnie Huntsberger, Republican candidate for Washington County Magistrate, District Number 4.
Hello, my name is Ronnie Huntsberger, and I'm running for Magistrate for District 4 for Washington County. I'm running because first somebody came and asked me, and it was it's not something I'd really considered, but after prayer and seeking godly counsel and wise counsel, I decided it was something that I would do. There's people in the community encouraged it. I'm pretty accessible. I own a small business here in Springfield, so available most times for concerns, and I just want to try to do what's right for the county. So I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Our next candidate for the Washington County Magistrate District Number 5, John Vise.
Hello and good evening. First, want to thank anyone who had a hand in producing this event tonight. I feel like we're going to have a lot of good conversation that comes out of here. My name is John Vise. I'm running for magistrate in Washington County's District 5. If elected, I am ready and excited to serve our community. I am ready to work diligently with the fiscal court to improve and uphold Washington County, not only District 5. Every voter, every resident in the county has a voice, and I believe they should be heard. I am excited to sit down with everyone in my district. Some I already have, but I'm excited to listen to the needs of District 5 and get to work with the community. I plan to further my education when it comes to the magistrate position. That's at the state level. Any course, any class that is available to me, I plan to take. I want to be prepared, dedicated, and knowledgeable to do this job, and I want to do it to the best of my ability. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of being a part of this community. I would greatly appreciate your support and your vote come May 19th. And if I need to elaborate on anything, if anybody has any questions or wants to reach out to me, please contact me. Thank you.
Shamika Ashby, Democratic candidate for Nelson County Judge Executive.
Hi, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for this. This is great to see all these great faces out here and candidates, and I wish everyone the best of luck. As you said, my name is Shamika Ashby, and I'm running for County Judge Executive. My vision for Nelson County is simple. I want a county where families can afford to live, where workers have the equipment that they need, and that there's opportunity and growth for everyone in our community. First, I want to address housing. As of right now, housing in Nelson County is out of control for rentals. It's cheaper to live in a big city than it is into our fair little quaint county. I want to change that. And I also want to reestablish codes so that everything is fair for the renters as well as the landlords. And by doing that, I want to establish grants to help landlords to improve the housing if they can't afford it. Secondly, I want to make sure that every department has the proper equipment. As of right now, our coroner does not have a vehicle. I want to fix that. And I also want to make sure that our 911 system is up and running and in accordance with state regulations. And finally, I want to bring more opportunity to Nelson County. We're doing great in the bourbon industry and manufacturing, but I want to bring in more jobs in healthcare and different industries like tech and IT so that everyone in the county has opportunity instead of the elite. If you believe in those things, vote for me. My name is Shamika Ashby for County Judge Executive in Nelson County. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Ben Corder. He is the Democrat running for Nelson County Judge Executive.
They said I'm Ben Corder. I'm running for Nelson County Judge Executive. When I first moved to Nelson County about 10 years ago, I thought it was the coolest thing in the whole world that I got to move to a place that was the bourbon capital of the world. That's pretty cool. You go somewhere, you get to tell everyone, hey, I live in the bourbon capital of the world. Pretty cool. I don't think it's as cool anymore. Just in the last year, I've seen my local waterways polluted. I've seen corporate expansion. I've seen rick houses being planned to be built in flood zones that have already devastated areas. This is wrong. This needs to be changed. And this is on top of already dealing with the whiskey fungus that many people throughout Kentucky already deal with. It's time for a change. It's time for them to be good corporate citizens. And that is what I'm hoping to change. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Actuarial Science. I have my MBA from U of L. In a couple weeks, I'll be defending my dissertation to get my PhD in Strategic Management. I am well suited for this position to help Nelson County excel, to help our future leaders, our children, go forward and have a better life if they so desire to stay in this great county. I'm Ben Corder. I hope you vote for me for Nelson County Judge Executive, and let's make Nelson County not just a great place to visit, but a great place to live. Thank you.
Here is M.T. Harned, Republican, Nelson County Magistrate, District Number 3.
Good evening. My name is M.T. Harned, and I want to thank those that are here this evening, as well as those tuning in to G&G Productions. I want to send out a thank you to Hal and John for inviting us to introduce myself and everyone along to as who's running for this for the races that we're in. I'm a lifelong resident of Nelson County, and for the past 3.5 years, I have been honored to be the Magistrate of District 3 of Nelson County. And in that time frame, I've worked tirelessly and also closely with the Judge Executive as well as the entire team of our fiscal court in order to spend and to watch every dollar, to make sure every dollar that we spend for our constituents is done for the right reason and at the right time. Also, during that time frame, we've worked hard to do exactly what Ben's talking about. We've brought the bourbon industry as far as bringing businesses that want to locate into Nelson County. We want to make sure that even from the top of the large businesses like the bourbon businesses as well as the small shops on Main Street have an even playing field. And that's part of what we've done so far. I'm asking for your vote for a second term because I believe I'm the right person for this position. I bring a proven experience as your current magistrate. I have a BS degree in business with a major in finance. I bring real-world experience as a former financial advisor. I'm also a small business owner who oversees 2 local businesses that manage multi-million-dollar businesses on budgets, as well as what you have to do in the fiscal court. We spend a whole lot of the county's money. We want to make sure that we're doing it correctly. That combination gives me a distinctive advantage to be an effective and efficient steward of your tax dollars. But more than that, my family, my kids, and my grandkids live in Nelson County. And I'm very passionate, and I'm extremely motivated to keep Nelson County financially strong and to make sure that it's a great place for my kids and their grandkids to raise their families. I'm the right person at the right time and for all the right reasons to be your magistrate again. And I appreciate your vote. God bless America and God bless Nelson County.
Next, we have Deborah. I told you I was going to mess that up. Deborah, Nelson County Magistrate, District Number 5. I'll let you say your last name.
Thank you. First of all, well, where am I looking? Okay, there we go. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I'd like to take just a second to commemorate what happened today in Bardstown, and I want to thank the community for stepping up and stepping out and coming to honor Transfer Sergeant Ashley Pruitt. I think it really really honors our community when we see so many people that came out and split up their day to honor our fallen soldier. And I really hope that helped the family heal a little bit in something so tragic. My name is Deborah Bohachevsky. I have a little cheat sheet here because it's kind of hard to remember. It's hard to say. Deborah Bohachevsky. I'm running for Nelson County 5th District Magistrate. That's the Northeast Nelson County area. I'm proud to call Nelson County my home, and I've lived here since 2001, where I've raised my family and built a life rooted in agriculture and my community. I grew up on a dairy farm, and I help operate my own family farm. So I understand the value of hard work and the responsibility and making sure every dollar counts. Professionally, I have 3 degrees, but what would really help me is my geography and GIS degree. I have experience in mapping, planning, sales, GIS, voter redistricting, municipality infrastructure, and I've seen firsthand how important those decisions are and how much they impact our local community. I've been involved in the community over the years, volunteering at my son's schools, through Boy Scouts, through youth aviation programs, and working with veterans through the Hives for Heroes program, being a mentor, staying engaged through community groups, my local Republican Party, and working the polls at the elections. One thing I bring to this role is time and availability. I have the flexibility to be prepared and to serve on committees and advocate for Nelson County. If elected, I want to work hard to represent District 5 and all of Nelson County with integrity, common sense, fiscal responsibility, and a strong commitment to accountability. I think I am the best person for the job, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Walt Livers, Republican candidate for Marion County Judge Executive.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Walt Livers. I'm proud to be a candidate for Marion County Judge Executive. Now, I'm not a lifelong politician, and I never planned on getting into this. I'm a father, an Army veteran, and a small business owner. As a father, I've learned what it takes to build a safe and stable community for your families. A veteran, I learned about being responsible for what you do, those around you, and how to lead from the front. As a small business owner, I know how hard it is to create jobs, keep money on the food on the table, and make ends meet. That real world experience is exactly what I bring to this office. Our county deserves leadership that's practical, honest, and focused on results. We need to maintain and improve our roads and infrastructure, support our local businesses, and ensure that all of our life-saving measures are in place to help protect us. One of the main things I want to look at is increasing affordable housing for those around us. People who live in single-family homes, single individuals. Marion County is a hard place for them to get a job and afford where to live. I will continue to focus on strengthening our local economy. When small businesses do well, the rest of our community follows suit. I believe in accountability. Every tax dollar should be spent wisely, and we should be transparent on how we're spending it. I will make sure your voice is heard and concerns are addressed. At the end of the day, this isn't about politics, it's about people. It's about serving this county the same way I've served my country, my family, and my business, with dedication, integrity, and hard work. Together we can build a stronger, safer, and more affordable future for our community. Thank you, and I ask for your support.
Our next candidate for Marion County Sheriff is Mr. Chad Rakes.
Thank you all for being here and your interest in this year's election. I also like to acknowledge the dedicated service of my opponents, Ray Gardner and Jeff Coyle, for their service to the community. My name is Chad Rakes, and I'm running for Marion County Sheriff. If elected, I will work with Ray and Jeff to ensure a responsible transition and to build on the strengths of our current leadership while guiding us toward a new necessary direction for our community. I'm a people-oriented person who believes in helping anyone in need and treating every person with dignity and respect. Marion County deserves a sheriff you can trust, one who stands for their community and protects everyone's rights. All deputies will wear body cameras at all times that are active during patrols and engagements. Complaints will be reviewed, and the footage, if it confirms misconduct, appropriate action will be taken. The sheriff's budget and major purchases will be transparent at all times with opportunity for public oversight and input. In addition to standard training, deputies will participate in empathy and de-escalation exercises to better understand the experiences of the arrestee. I will be accessible to the community, provide regular updates, and seek public input on policy, budget, and operations. If you elect me as your sheriff, you will see tangible progress in a sheriff's office that is more accountable, more transparent, and more engaged with the people it serves. I am committed to making Marion County a safer, more respectful place to live. I welcome any of your questions and concerns, and I'd like to thank you all for being here.
And finally, Don Thrasher, Republican candidate for Nelson County Judge Executive.
Good evening. I'm Don Thrasher. I live in Nelson County in Cox's Creek, and I'm running for Nelson County Judge Executive. Before I begin, I want to recognize a couple of people here tonight. I had the opportunity to serve as chairman of the Nelson County Republican Party following Robert Augustine, who did a strong job building the organization, and I always want to recognize his achievements, and thank you, Robert. I also want to recognize James Victory, who is here tonight as a candidate for state senate. James and I ran against each other for party chairman, and he was respectful and gracious in his loss. I'm running for a simple reason. County government in Nelson County has drifted away from fiscal discipline and accountability. Spending has grown too fast, property taxes are too high, and too many people feel like they deal with county government, they're not being treated fairly or consistently. That's not acceptable. I come from the private sector. I built Thrasher Beverage, which later became Zevia. In business, you have to live within your means, follow the rules, and treat people fairly. Government should be no different, especially Nelson County government. If elected, my focus will be clear. Bring spending under control. Stabilize and reduce the tax burden on property taxpayers. Enforce accountability across every department. And make sure every citizen is treated fairly every time. This race is about a choice. Continue on the current path or bring in leadership that will enforce discipline, demand accountability, and put taxpayers first. I'm asking for your vote, and I'd be honored to earn your support. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the candidates that came out this evening that'll be running in the May primary. We've asked you to hold your applause, but what an appropriate time to give them all a round of applause. Thank you all for coming here this evening. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to get started with the 14th District candidates for State Senate. It's all part of our political forum, which is a G&G on-demand production.
Building Kentucky for over 70 years, Hayden Materials has been the trusted name behind the Bluegrass State's growth. From commercial and industrial developments to residential projects and major infrastructure, we provide the asphalt and stone products that keep Kentucky moving forward. At Hayden, we take your project from bare earth to a finished, high-quality surface, offering crushed stone of all sizes, asphalt paving for projects big or small, and complete site preparation, including excavation and grading. Call Hayden Materials today for your free estimate. Hayden Materials, building Kentucky from the ground up.
At American Legion Post number 49, Jim Bob Moore in Lebanon, we honor our veterans and their service to our great country. Whether you're looking for food, friendship, or fellowship, you'll find it here. And if you're feeling lucky, try your hand at one of our 20 electronic pull-tab gaming machines. Stop by and see us at 541 West Main Street in Lebanon or call 270-402-3732 for more information. American Legion Post number 49, where veterans come together.
Welcome to Springfield, Kentucky. Steeped in tradition and heritage, our illustrious past has given birth to a wide selection of events and attractions which are yours to enjoy and long remember. Springfield, where the Lincoln legacy began. Abraham Lincoln, Springfield's hometown hero, our nation's 16th president. We've got it all: recreation, the arts, history, bourbon, horses, and especially hospitality. Hometown proud. Visit Springfield, where history meets hospitality.
Did you know you can now watch G&G Productions and on demand on your favorite devices? That's right. We're streaming on Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Catch every moment online at gng.live or follow the action live on Facebook and YouTube. Wherever you are, we've got you covered. G&G Productions, your news, sports, and community activities brought to you live and free.
And welcome back to the Opera House. We're so glad to have you alongside this evening. And again, this is our political forum that we put together. And I want to reach out to our team of G&G On Demand and G&G Productions. They do include several that are here this evening, with executive producer all the way down to camera. Let's thank them all right now with a round of applause. Thank you, team. We appreciate you being here. Also, we want to thank our sponsors for tonight. They include the Nelson County Republican Party, Washington County Democratic Party, Washington County Democratic Women's Club, Marion County Democratic Party, Nelson County Democratic Party, Springfield Tourism, Washington County Main Street, Hayden Materials, Jim Bob Moore, American Legion Post number 49, and the Central Kentucky Community Theater where we are right now. Again, let's thank them. Give them a nice round of applause. Thank you all. Let me introduce to you our moderator. This is the feature we wanted to have this evening, and we reached out to Dave Weinbrenner. Dave is from Lebanon. He works with families. He works with businesses and individuals in building long-term wealth. David has a background in insurance. His background's in risk management. He assists in the protection of client assets. David has been an independent financial advisor with his firm for the last 25 years in Lebanon and Marion County, but his reach is much more than that. And we appreciate Dave for committing and being a part of this, and we also appreciate all the candidates that came out this evening. We've asked you to hold your applause here inside, but what an appropriate time as we get started with this event. Let's give Dave and the entire group here a round of applause here at the Opera House. Thank you, David.
Absolutely. Good evening, I'm Dave Weinbrenner, and it's my pleasure to be the moderator for tonight's political forum for Republican and Democrat candidates for the 14th District State Senate primary, presented by G&G Productions and G&G On Demand. This political forum is going to be a little bit different than what others you've seen up until this point. Up until this point, it's been a little bit more general, a little bit more at 10,000 foot level. Tonight, we're going to get very specific. We're going to have a round robin style of conversation. Each candidate will have 2 minutes. We have a timekeeper to be able to keep us on task. We want to cover as many questions as we can to be able to answer everything that the voters are interested in. Up until now, candidates have talked to us about what they think they can do, but tonight we're going to talk about how and what they actually intend to do. You know, Derby, we're at this time of the year, Derby is around the corner, and this race, very important race, is coming into the home stretch. We're so glad that you're spending the night with us, and over the next 90 minutes, we're going to help you to get very informed by these candidates. Tonight, we're going to have an opening comment for 2 minutes, introduction by the candidates. Tonight, we're going to start with Malcolm, and then we'll go down the line and we'll come back the other way, starting with our first candidate. So Malcolm, an opening introduction, 2 minutes, please.
Good evening. My name is Malcolm Jones, and I'm a candidate for the Kentucky State Senate 14th District. I'm running because I see the pain that our constituents are under. I see the duress, and I also see that some are doing something that should never happen in the Commonwealth or the United States. Some are losing hope. And so I want to work toward reinstilling that hope. I'm a 20-year Air Force retired veteran. I have a 21-year corporate career as an HR professional. So all of my adult life has been about taking care of people and delivering results. And that's what I plan to do as the next senator for the 14th District of Kentucky. Now, my platform is based on a integrity-based leadership and a service before self presence daily in the 14th District. My pillars of focus are affordability, healthcare, also education, job growth, and holding the GOP accountable to the reckless policies and actions that they're taking that are really hurting people on a day-to-day basis here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I have built a work ethic around collaboration. And so I plan on collaborating regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your gender, regardless of your race, regardless of your social economic status or your sexual orientation. If you come to me with a collaborative spirit and a willingness to work toward common goals, you have a seat at my table. My name is Malcolm Jones, and I look forward to serving and earning your vote in May and then in November as the next Kentucky Senator of the 14th District. Thank you.
Thank you, Malcolm. Carrie?
Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Truitt, and I'm a Democratic candidate for the Kentucky State Senate here in the 14th District. I'm here with you this evening because of the strong foundation that my family lay for me. I grew up on a small dairy and tobacco farm in Marion County where I developed character, work ethic, and a clear understanding of struggle. That upbringing put me on a path that led to a 20-year career in nonprofit leadership where I work every day to make a difference in my community. That commitment to service then led me to run for and win a seat on the Marion County Board of Education in 2016. In that seat, I am afforded the opportunity to see the struggles that our families are facing every day. And whether it is food insecurity, housing instability, a lack of access to healthcare in general and mental health care specifically, our families are struggling, just like I did throughout my childhood, and we must do more. I am running for state senate because I want to be a part of the solution that creates an economic environment that empowers our families to put food on their tables and a roof over their heads without having to work 3 jobs to do it. I also want to work to expand healthcare access to ensure the availability and accessibility of quality healthcare close to home. I also want to do the work that makes sure that every single one of our 171 public school districts are strong and safe and provide a path to success for every child, no matter the challenges that they're living with and learning with. I am proud to serve in this community. I am eager to serve in this community. I come to you tonight asking for your support, asking for your trust, and asking for your vote on May 19th. I am Carrie Truitt, Democratic candidate for the Kentucky State Senate, and I'm built for this work. I'm dedicated to this mission and committed to our communities. Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie. Stephen?
Thank you, Dave. I'm Stephen Carney. I'm a full-time farmer, small business owner, and a Republican with a proven track record of conservative leadership. I've been incredibly fortunate to serve as a county magistrate here in Washington County, where I've been a voice for common sense in county government. I've worked consistently against raising taxes in Washington County. I've advocated for efficient and responsible uses of taxpayer dollars and resources. And because I take seriously the fact that my calling is to public service, I voted against raising my own salary that I get paid as a county magistrate. While serving as a county magistrate, I've been fortunate to serve on the legislative committee of the Kentucky Magistrates and Commissioners Association, where I've been fortunate to not only learn the legislative process and learn how things get done for Kentucky in Frankfort, but I've also offered a common sense conservative solutions regarding how state legislation affects state, county, and city governments, so that we can better serve our constituents and work toward those shared goals that we want to see, so that we can be efficient at every level of government. I'm running for the state senate to make Kentucky a place where families and communities can thrive, and so that our kids can have opportunities here close to home here in Kentucky. That's why I support policies that make Kentucky competitive, such as working toward a fiscally sustainable pathway to eliminate the income tax, getting government out of the way of growth, ensuring that our education system prepares kids to be a skilled workforce to take the jobs for tomorrow, and ensuring that Kentucky policy reflects Kentucky values. This is what I believe it's going to take to make Kentucky competitive, to bring jobs coming in, and drive real wage growth so that we can work on the goals that some of these candidates are going to talk about tonight. Now, everyone that talks about this race says Jimmy Higdon leaves big shoes to fill, and I will agree. We need to send someone to Frankfort who not only knows how the legislative process works, who knows how government works, but has also shown that they have the capability to lead and do what's right for Kentucky. And I hope you will see that I am the man to do the job.
Ben?
Yeah. Thanks everybody for being here tonight and tuning in from home. My name is Ben Mudd. I live in Marion County, fifth generation to live on our family farm. Very proud to have moved back there, and now my two daughters who are here with me tonight are the sixth generation to live there. It's that the rural values that we share across these communities that have really helped me grow as a person. I went to pharmacy school at the University of Kentucky, and it was important to come back to serve patients in Marion and surrounding counties. I practiced pharmacy in the district for 10 years at an independent pharmacy and went on to work now for the Kentucky Pharmacists Association. I've been there for 5 years in Frankfort on a daily basis, understanding the process and what it takes to be a good state senator. What I've experienced there is we have a healthcare crisis in Kentucky and across the country, and we have a healthcare spending problem. One of the big things that I want to focus on is addressing that. Prescription drugs are too expensive, healthcare is unaffordable, and it's been taken over by large corporate insurance companies who, for the last 5 years, I have fought. I also am a small business owner. I own an independent pharmacy here in Springfield, Kentucky, and therefore know what it's like to have employees, and I see the struggles that they have. I think from an economic development standpoint, we have to support our small businesses. Everybody here will agree with that. But when we welcome a new small business, we need to embrace them in our communities and give them the level of support that we give the biggest entities that come to our state and embrace that as well. I'm running for the future generation. I want my children and their generation to have the same opportunities that I've been granted in this wonderful district in Marion County and beyond. Thank you all.
James?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dave. Thank you to the audience here, and thank you to my fellow candidates here that have joined us here in Springfield. My name is James Victory, and I'm running to be the next state senator for the 14th District. My family and I, we live in the Cox's Creek area of Nelson County, and I have my wife, Haley, who is the principal of Cox's Creek Elementary for Nelson County Schools, as well as our two girls, Josie and Maggie. And I call them out because they took off on me and went to spring break, so I know they're watching right now. So hey, guys. So professionally, I work for the United States House of Representatives. I'm a field staffer for the House, and I live here in the district. So it's given me a really interesting opportunity to understand what's going on in a lot of these communities, but also what's going on with a lot of the individuals that live in these communities. And because of that experience, it's given me an opportunity to build this campaign on a few practical ideas. The first thing that I hear about when I'm going around the 14th District is property taxes. Property taxes are choking out not only our property owners, but our renters. We're running the risk of pushing our seniors out of homes, and we're creating barriers for young people to get in homes. We have solutions that can help us get a rein on those and deliver more local control, and that's what I'll work towards. The second thing I talk frequently about is the SEEK formula and how we fund education here in Kentucky. That formula is outdated, and it does not take into account the realities of the economies that we live in today. We have to deliver results that make sense for not only our students and our teachers, but our taxpayers as well. And the last thing that I've run this campaign on is protecting our Kentucky farms and our Kentucky farmers. The 14th District that we all love so much was built off the back of farmers and as agricultural communities. And if we don't start developing ways to keep the land that we have here in the 14th District productive, we're going to lose it, and we're going to lose the character that makes us us. And I have the experience to deliver on these things. So please vote for victory.
Thanks, Lynn.
Good evening, friends, and I also want to thank you for being here this evening. Well, we've made it to the final stretch, and this race comes down to one question, and that is, who is prepared to do the job on day one? I've spent my entire adult life preparing for this, from walking the halls of Transylvania University to receiving my doctorate degree, serving patients, families, and our communities. I'm a healthcare provider. I have been a small business owner, and I've spent 11 years on the Spencer County Board of Education. And I want to say this clearly. I'm the only candidate here who actually has done the work in 3 disciplines of healthcare, education, and small business. And I know how to deliver results for our rural communities. I'm ready to give this job my full-time commitment and the focus that it deserves, because our communities can't afford anything less. I've seen what happens when rural health care access is limited, not on a report, but sitting across from patients in my office. I've worked alongside teachers, administrators, and parents, making decisions that affect families every single day. I understand what it takes to meet payroll, to manage rising costs, and keep a business running in a tough economy. So when we talk about these issues tonight, I won't be speaking on theories. I'll be speaking from experience. This race really isn't about who can talk the best, it's about who can do the job. And on day one, there's a clear difference, and that's why I ask for your vote. I would be honored to serve you and honored to serve this district. My name is Dr. Lynn Shelburne. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Good job. Dallas?
Oh, sorry. Hey guys, my name's Dallas Robinson. I'm the husband of the 3-time hay bale toss champion and a proud father of Esme. At childcare today, they were reading a book, and it said a story about Jesus, and Esme raised her hand and said, "He loves me." And that's probably my most proud dad moment. I'm a decorated Army veteran who's been invited to the White House. I am a farmer who purchased a farm, built the fence, bought the cows, dug the ponds. I'm a local business owner. I've invested an obscene amount of money with my business partners and my family into our local community, created dozens of jobs, and earned thousands of customers. And I'm running for this office because I've spent my entire adult life serving as a business owner, as a military veteran, and as a farmer. I want to continue to serve in a slightly different capacity. I want to protect our rural values of faith, family, and freedom that we hold so dear in our district. I want to stand up for farmers, small business owners and local jobs who feed and fuel our local economy, cut taxes, and fight wasteful spending, defend the unborn and safeguard our Second Amendment rights, and support our veterans, first responders, and law enforcement. Every single one of those pillars I've lived out my life doing. And I've been successful doing each and every single one of those. And I would be honored to be your champion in Frankfort, because I know not necessarily how Frankfort works, but I know how we work in the 14th District. Every single one of you, I appreciate you, I respect you, and I'm looking forward to serving you as your next state senator.
Thank you, Dallas. Brian?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Bears. I'm a former magistrate in Spencer County, Kentucky. I've been a resident there for the last 23 years. I have 2 boys, Thomas and Adam Ray. They both are going to be going to Spencer County schools, and they are the big reason why I'm running for office. As a former magistrate, I had the ability to be able to make great changes in Spencer County. One of those areas that I was able to change was our work readiness. I was able to start and help facilitate our Work Readies program in Spencer County and help get us to be a Work Ready certified community. I believe it is very important for us as candidates to serve our communities, to help improve where we can improve, and make Kentucky and the Commonwealth a much better place to live. Outside of that, I believe I am the only candidate here who has actually had real-world experience getting bills through the House and the Senate on the Kentucky level. I was able to speak in front of the House Judiciary, the Senate Judiciary, and in 2017, Governor Bevin signed Jack's Law, which helped make it much more difficult to release autopsy photos out there to the general public, which helps parents who have lost children out there. I also worked tirelessly on the federal level to help get the Cameron Gold Branson Transportation Safety Act implemented. That's the law that requires backup cameras in all vehicles produced after May 1st, 2018. One of the big reasons I decided to run in speaking with kids in cars as a parent advocate, I was able to find out that real solutions actually have real impact, and that Cameron Gold Branson Transportation Safety Act has reduced deaths in 78% of children. Thank you. I'm Brian Bears, and I appreciate your vote.
Okay, now we're going to get into the meat of the program tonight. We're going to do a round robin style. Brian, we're going to start with you to begin, and then when we come back on the next round, Malcolm, you'll begin. So we have these questions that have been submitted by voters who are very interested in these answers. They want specific details tonight. We want answers about these questions, and let's get that in 2 minutes from each of the candidates. The first one, so important for many of us, healthcare, and specifically rural healthcare access. Many rural communities struggle with hospital closures. There's fewer doctors, long travel times for care. Medicaid funding is critical for those hospitals, and cuts could really impact them dramatically. Healthcare access often determines whether a community survives or fails. Specifically, what would you do to protect rural hospitals and expand healthcare access in small counties? Brian, we'll start with you, 2 minutes.
Well, I think one of the big things that we need to look at in our rural healthcare is options out there like telehealth. Telehealth is becoming an expanding area of healthcare. It makes healthcare available to people all over the place, depending on their proximity. I know here in Springfield, we're approximately 8 miles away from the closest hospital there in Lebanon, and another 15 to 20 minutes away from Flagey. So healthcare access is a big deal to our communities here. As a father who has a son who is epileptic, I understand that we don't want to wait 15, 20 minutes to get our kids to a healthcare facility. I think it's very important for us to be able to fund healthcare, to provide access through local clinics. And I think it's also very important that we educate our youth and help encourage them to bring that knowledge back to our communities, to form clinics in our local communities, as well as bring that knowledge back so that we can keep our citizens safe.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Dallas, 2 minutes.
Thank you. So, rural healthcare access. It is very, very difficult for small offices, small practitioners to operate in the current environment. The state has too many MCOs, managed care organizations, and it's incredibly burdensome from each organization, 5 or 6 of them. And that's just an obscene amount that we have in the state of Kentucky. To put example, upwards of 30 to 40% of provided health care goes uncollected via these MCOs. That's 40% of the profit that should have been collected for providing a service that is no longer there for your family practitioner, that's not there for your rural hospital, because all of these different organizations have different authorizations, procedures, and they change them on a whim, and it's very difficult to know whether or not you have to do these 3 diagnostic things In these 48-hour prior authorizations with one, but the other one you have one diagnostic, and it's the same day authorization. So when you have Springview Hospital that has $10 million, which is upwards of 40% of their billing goes completely uncollected, it's not an environment that is beneficial, profitable, or even sustainable for rural local healthcare providers. So we have to fix the MCO thing on the state legislative level. And that will allow there to be a better system and it be more profitable for individuals to continue practice and be the way it used to be, where we used to have small practices all throughout our district. And it's just incredibly burdensome. The government is not great at many things, and that's preserving wealth or allocating resources. And we need to go back to more of a free market with health insurance and healthcare in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Dallas. Lynn?
Yes, I agree. I think access to quality health care is probably one of the biggest challenges that's facing our rural communities. And as a healthcare provider, I see firsthand where the gaps are. And it's from provider shortages and then again the long travel times to get the care. So I feel like one of the first things in medicine that could help across the board is to improve and increase our preventive care aspects. And in a lot of these rural communities, I was just in LaRue at their expo, they brought buses in that are well equipped to do many of the screening processes that are preventive. If you catch a disease early, then you can prevent long-term ill effects from that. And these screenings are certainly going to help that. So I am all about helping with that screening process. I know I take advantage of it myself. Every year at the Kentucky State Fair, I'm first in line for my mammogram. And they have mammogram buses that travel the rural communities where you can get that service done. And again, that's a preventive related service that can be provided. I do agree that telehealth is definitely going to be an integral part of rural healthcare services, and we need to embrace that. I know, for example, on our insurance plan, if we chose to go with a telehealth directed plan, then our premiums would be significantly lowered. So it is a struggle, but I do think there are ways that we can improve this, and I think that the state government can assist.
Thank you. James?
So when you're talking about rural health care, really you can't have that conversation without talking about Medicaid. So Medicaid makes up about 50% of the budget for all of our rural hospitals across Kentucky. And a real issue that we run into in Kentucky that Auditor Ball found just a few months ago is issues around waste, fraud, and abuse, where she was able to find almost $1 billion of Kentucky taxpayer money in Medicaid that fell into the pots of waste, fraud, and abuse. Now that's $1 billion that should have and could have been going to our rural hospitals. So we have to get a handle on Medicaid here within the state of Kentucky and the way that we're funding it. And there is a federal pot that's coming that's worth about $150 million specifically to support rural hospitals across Kentucky. But there are also other things we need to look at, including value-based outcomes. And I bring that up because actually just prior to coming here, I was with a company just on the outer loop in Louisville called Health Tracks RX. And it was really fascinating what they were doing to receive lab cultures and in an expedited fashion from urgent care clinics all over the country, right here in the heart of Kentucky. And then overnight, they could turn around and tell you through cultures, specifically not only what your diagnosis was, but what the prescription medication is that would most benefit you. And the reason that's significant is because often prescribers will give you medicine just like your basic amoxicillins, just to help you feel better now. But we need to be incentivizing people to actually treat the root cause so we have good health outcomes. That's how you lead to affordability in these rural settings, is by wasting less money. So that's why I feel like we need to be incentivizing at the state level to make sure we still give people in rural communities access to health care.
Thanks, James. Ben?
Thank you. Jumping right into the policy side of things, I think we need to greatly reduce the number of MCOs we have in the state, maybe eliminate them altogether. Every dollar that goes out in Medicaid, 10 cents of that goes to our MCOs. So you take that on a $20 billion scale, it means that they're keeping $2 billion that, if we were more efficient with that, could go back to support our local providers and hospitals. And the incentives for them to continue to raise premiums or the per member per month rate is that they want that number to always go up, because it's pretty simple. If I'm giving you 10% of something, would you rather keep 10% of $1 or 10% of $10? I think we have to focus, yes, on our rural hospitals, but we have to embrace primary care providers and the relationships that they have with patients. We can stop so much of the expenditures in healthcare by everyone having a good primary care. We need more primary care physicians. We need to support our medical schools. We have 3 across the state, maybe having a 4th coming soon. I think we need to look at fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. Again, every dollar that goes out that doesn't go back to providers is wasteful money. In the drug benefit for Medicaid alone, I was instrumental in helping and implement where we have one pharmacy manager for all of those MCOs. In the first 2 years after that legislation was passed, the state saved $282 million just by making one simple change from having 5 PBMs to 1. It's those types of policies that we have to put in place to, again, save that money and give that back to rural Kentucky. The other thing I want to do is help break down vertical integration. Right now, 10% of all physicians in America are employed by United Healthcare. That's a huge conflict of interest, and we need to address that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen?
Dave, I'm a big believer in markets, and I believe that the best way to allocate resources and get people the services and goods that they need is to let the market decide. And I believe on healthcare and life-saving services, in order to have more market competition and more market integration, we need to look at our certificate of need laws to make sure that the state is not implementing unnecessary barriers to entry that are withholding from Kentucky citizens the services that they need to live and the services that many of our farmers need to stay alive in the event of an accident. And also looking at this, I believe that the market is only as good as the ability of your customers to access it, and that comes into transportation. This is something that I've dealt with extensively in my time as a county magistrate, because in many cases in rural communities, your primary option for transportation is the local EMS service, which is operated by county government. Right now, the Medicaid reimbursement rate for ground ambulatory care does not cover the cost of services. So when your local government is taking a loss on a run, that's one less truck that they're able to afford, one less EMT that they're able to hire, and one less paramedic that's able to be there to save your life. And out on the farm, I believe that the service that we need to have and the solution needs to solve the actual problem that you're not using more or less than you need. So something that we need to look at here, because an ambulance isn't always what you need. Non-emergency medical transport is definitely a place to fill the gap for Kentucky citizens that need to get to the hospital, need to go to a doctor visit, but where an ambulance may be going too far, so that we can use our resources wisely and to the best of our ability.
Thank you, Stephen. Carrie?
So Congressman Hal Rogers and Governor Andy Beshear recently announced a $213 million investment in the Rural Health Transformation Program because healthcare is such an issue in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And that program is targeted specifically to address 5 or 6 different issues: maternal care, mental health care, oral care, addressing chronic illnesses, and a couple of other areas that we are very aware that are challenges here. And I think as state legislators, what our role can be in kind of addressing affordability and accessibility of healthcare is making sure that when we have those resources available to us, that those resources are distributed effectively and efficiently. A lot of the things that I hear across the board, whether it's healthcare or education, broadband infrastructure, is that we receive federal monies and then it gets kind of hung up in the distribution process. And so as legislators and as a state senator, I would want to work very closely with the Cabinet of Health and Human Services to ensure that those millions of dollars that are targeted toward addressing the availability of rural health care for Kentuckians are distributed quickly. We also know over in Marion County, Springview Hospital was one of 32 hospitals on a list at risk of closure because of Medicaid cuts from the federal government. And so it's a little bit challenging to see that that $213 million is coming in from the federal government while we're also seeing cuts on the other side. And so I think, like a couple of my peers have mentioned, is that yes, there are undoubtedly waste, fraud in Medicaid, in Medicare. There's different things that happen. And so if we can allocate some of our resources to support staff to ensure that processes are worked through clearly, that when fraud is identified at the front level, then it's addressed appropriately and kind of weeded out there. So I think there's a lot of ways for us to utilize our resources more effectively and then make healthcare affordable and accessible for our Kentuckians. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Malcolm?
So I spent the last 12 years of my corporate career in the healthcare industry. So I've got to see the inner workings, if you will. I got to see behind the curtain. And a lot of times in the healthcare industry, I had to wonder whether patient care was a priority or profit was a priority. We need to address that. Also, number one, we need to address that big ugly bill that is really hurting and cutting Medicaid and Medicare and impacting people all across this country. Not only in the Commonwealth, but all across the country. Number two, we need to reel in big business insurance companies who are driving up the cost of healthcare. Thirdly, we need more doctors and more nurses in our rural communities. How do we do that? We incentivize them to come into our communities, not only to come and work, but to stay in our communities, student loan forgiveness, or other financial incentives for staying in the community once they are here. So the bottom line is this. Some folks say it's a government issue, that they need to fix healthcare. Some say it's a civilian or commercial issue. Big business needs to fix healthcare. I say it's both. They need to work together with common sense policy, common sense actions, and keep it patient-focused, community-focused, to make things right. Right now, they are running amok, they're driving up costs, they're doing basically whatever the heck they want to do to ensure profit. We need to fix that. We need to reel them in, we need to repeal that big ugly bill, and we need to develop a plan to go forward in conjunction, the government in conjunction with private industry. Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in tonight. You're listening to and following the Republican and Democrat candidates for the 14th District in the State Senate primary. This is being put on by the wonderful folks at G&G On Demand and G&G Productions. We're going to take a short 2-3 minute commercial break. We're going to come back and Malcolm will begin the next question. Stay tuned.
Building Kentucky for over 70 years, Hayden Materials has been the trusted name behind the Bluegrass State's growth. From commercial and industrial developments to residential projects and major infrastructure, we provide the asphalt and stone products that keep Kentucky moving forward. At Hayden, we take your project from bare earth to a finished, high-quality surface, offering crushed stone of all sizes, asphalt paving for projects big or small, and complete site preparation, including excavation and grading. Call Hayden Materials today for your free estimate. Hayden Materials, building Kentucky from the ground up.
At American Legion Post number 49, Jim Bob Moore in Lebanon, we honor our veterans and their service to our great country. Whether you're looking for food, friendship, or fellowship, you'll find it here. And if you're feeling lucky, try your hand at one of our 20 electronic pull-tab gaming machines. Stop by and see us at 541 West Main Street in Lebanon or call 270-402-3732 for more information. American Legion Post number 49, where veterans come together.
Welcome Welcome to Springfield, Kentucky. Steeped in tradition and heritage, our illustrious past has given birth to a wide selection of events and attractions which are yours to enjoy and long remember. Springfield, where the Lincoln legacy began. Abraham Lincoln, Springfield's hometown hero, our nation's 16th president. We've got it all: recreation, the arts, history, bourbon, horses, and especially hospitality. Hometown proud. Visit Springfield, where history meets hospitality.
Did you know you can now watch G&G Productions and on demand on your favorite devices? That's right, we're streaming on Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Catch every moment online at gng.live or follow the action live on Facebook and YouTube. Wherever you are, we've got you covered. G&G Productions, your news, sports, and community activities brought to you live and free.
Hi, this is Dave Weinbrenner, and we're so pleased to invite you to join us tonight. I'm the moderator tonight for the political forum for the Republican Democrat candidates in the 14th District. If you're just tuning in, this is a little bit different from other forums and past political events for these candidates. We're going to be very specific tonight. We're doing it in a round-robin fashion. So we started out last time talking about rural health care. All of these questions are coming from informed, very interested voters. So the next comment and question that came up about agriculture. Many of you all have a strong background in agriculture. All of us demand and we rely upon our farmers, a small group in our country today. So the question is, agriculture drives rural economies oftentimes. Farmers are very concerned about input costs, regulations, weak farm safety nets that are there. Crop prices are an issue. Local meat processing, land access for young farmers. It's so expensive today. Data centers, and what's their going to be the role in the future? So specifically, how would you protect family farms and the agricultural economy in Kentucky? Malcolm, we're going to begin with you. 2 minutes, please.
Right. So I don't have a farming background, and I don't have a lot of experience in farming. However, what I would do first and foremost is sit down with farmers and find out what the challenges are, find out what their needs are, how we can best serve them and support them. Because you're right, farming and the bourbon industry are the mainstays of our economy in the 14th District. We need to make sure we're doing everything that we're capable of doing to take care of our farmers. They are propping up our economy. So yes, sit down, talk with the farmers, find out exactly what their needs are, and help them resolve those issues, with folks who are in the know. One thing that I've learned throughout my professional career is I don't have to have all the answers, but I need to surround myself with individuals who do have the answers. And that's who I am. I build relationships, and I get to root causes, and I develop fixes. So that's what I would do as a non-farmer to help the farming community.
Great, thank you. Carrie.
As I mentioned, I grew up on a small dairy and tobacco farm in Marion County, and saw a lot of the challenges. I remember the day that we auctioned off our cattle, and it was a sad day, but also a day filled with a little bit of relief as well. And I know the impact that agriculture has on our economy. In 2024 alone, agriculture contributed $50 billion to the Kentucky economy. And so we have to value and treasure our farmers. I think we're doing some things already, like Commissioner Brandon Shell and his Food is Medicine program. That is a huge initiative that couples both agriculture and healthcare and values both of those inputs and understands that the nutrition that we take in is part of the health of our being, right? We also saw recent legislation that would make it easier for school districts to purchase agriculture products in order to feed children. We in Marion County Public Schools have Kentucky Proud Day regularly. We work with the Loretta Mother House Farm and have a pop-up pumpkin patch. And so looking for those small ways to support our farmers at a local level is going to really bolster those activities. And then at the state level, we see kind of the tobacco settlement agreements and making sure that those funds remain available available to farmers. And then last but not least, affordability is an issue across the board. So we see a lot of farmers struggling with the price of fertilizer these days, and just the price of everything. You mentioned it, David, the price of inputs, and the money that they're getting for outputs isn't as strong as it used to be. And so are there opportunities, again, for us to utilize the resources that we have at the state level and continue to look for ways to support agriculture, because they are such a critical piece of the Kentucky economy?
Thank you.
Well, as the one guy on the stage that makes my living on the farm full time, I'm intimately familiar with the truth that as a farmer, your viability as a farming operation and as a business is only as good as your ability to market what you produce on the farm. So one of the things that I'm big on serving Kentucky farmers is expanding access to markets for our farms. When we look at economic development and bringing jobs into Kentucky and employing neighbors off the farm, something that we need to really look at is expanding opportunities for agricultural processing in the state as a job creation vehicle, so that we can increase demand for Kentucky's farm products, so that we can increase competition for farm products, reduce our basis in state, add value to Kentucky's farm products, as well as put more money back into the pockets of Kentucky farm families. Another big thing that we need to look at is we need to consider that the vast majority of Kentucky's family farms rely on off-farm income. So continuing to drive wage growth in jobs off of the farm and jobs across the board is something that I believe is vital in order to ensure that Kentucky families can continue to operate family farms.
Thank you. Ben?
I think Stephen hit a great point there on increasing markets for local products and processing. We've seen a couple of small meat processing facilities open in the district and right outside of it, and I think that's really helped our farmers. I think one thing that hasn't been mentioned is supporting our local extension service. They provide a lot of great services to our farming community and our communities as a whole, but I want to continue to embrace that. I also would like to see a program that gets non-farm students in high school on the farm. We talk a lot about trade school and those types of things. I want to see kids get the opportunity to embrace farming and experience in that, because you don't know what you don't know. And if students don't know what farm life is like, then they don't have the opportunity to appreciate what that could be for them. Another big thing I talk about is reducing or eliminating the ability to buy candy and soft drinks with SNAP benefits, and how does that relate to farming? What goes back to that market? We should be embracing our farmers and our small farmers that can produce local food, and if there's funding through that's opened up through those dollars that can go directly back to small farms and cut out, even the grocer and go direct to consumer for local goods, that will also help our farming community and keep people on their farm.
Great. James?
Yes, so you actually talked about it in your question, Dave, the input costs. So I have a very good friend named Caleb Ragland down in LaRue County. And Caleb is the most recent past president for the American Soybean Association. And some of the conversations I've got to have with him over the last couple of years about what that industry looks like for agriculture, those that are in row crops, and really the monopolization of where and who and how much they can get their products for is a real problem. We have to break that down through legislation here in Kentucky. Because when a Kentucky farmer is being told that even though they could find a seed or a fertilizer cheaper in Wisconsin, but they're only allowed to buy it from Illinois or Kentucky, or they'll be left out in the cold from being able to buy that seed and that fertilizer again, and that can continue to happen because there are so few companies in the market, that's a problem systemically that we have to address, or all the rest of the things we're going to say are going to be moot. Now, the second thing when I talk about Kentucky farms and Kentucky farmers is we have to look at farming as economic development. Agriculture accounts for about 15% of the GDP from the state of Kentucky. And we'll talk all day until we're blue in the face about bringing in manufacturing or bringing in logistics or even healthcare. But we don't talk about the value of a farm dollar that within our local communities will turn over 8 times within local banks, within stores like TNT Seed. It's important that we look at farming as the pillar that it is, because that's going to lead us to invest in education. So something that hasn't really come up tonight is within the next couple of years, we'll have a discussion that one of us will vote on as far as where the next veterinary school will be in Kentucky, because right now there isn't one. That's what we need to talk about when we talk about education and innovation, so we can remain a dominant agricultural force in the United States.
Lynn?
Yes. I realize that agriculture is the backbone of our district. It's not really just our heritage, and it is our economy. And I am really encouraged by what goes on in the school system now, in FFA and encouraging younger children to get involved and to understand what farm life is about. I think that's very important. But as we move forward and these children and students decide to go into farming, then we have to be there to support them and protect their abilities to operate. And you do that by strengthening the local markets and just ensuring that they can continue on with that legacy. I personally would tap into organizations like the Kentucky Farm Bureau. I think they understand agriculture probably better than any other organization in the state of Kentucky, and they have great ideas. Every year they come up with action items that they want to see and think that will help farmers. So I think we should work hand in hand with organizations like that, especially the Farm Bureau. And I think we're fortunate in Kentucky that we have a very diversified farming industry. We've got thoroughbreds, we've got saddlebreds, we've got row crops, we've got just a various agricultural bases that we can lean in on. And we need to continue that diversification, and we need to have the workforce available for these farmers so that they can continue to do the work that they need.
Thank you, Dallas.
Yeah, so on our farm, we do about 80 acres of row crops, and we have about 30 head of cattle. So we're a beef producer and row crops. And so I understand like how expensive it is to buy a farm this day and age, because I did it, and I paid about 20 times per acre what my grandparents paid generation prior. It's incredibly expensive. I do have to work off of the farm to pay the farm mortgage, and we're honored to do so. 60 years ago, there was 3 million farmers in our nation, 3 million active farms. There's about 1.7 million now, and we also have 100 million more people consuming that food. It's a matter of national security. A nation that cannot feed itself cannot stand on its own 2 feet. Input costs are extremely, extremely expensive. It tracks fuel costs, and it tracks a lot of other economic factors. We need to incentivize local manufacturing of fertilizers and local manufacturing of different products we put on our row crops. We also need to help with giving a break of inheritance taxes for individuals that will end up inheriting their farm that they then cannot afford the taxes on it, so it needs to be broken up. We have to expand that out and make that more accessible for individuals that want to pass that farm on to their children to continue to be local food providers. Ban foreign ownership of farmland. It's not an investment piece for foreign nations to purchase. It is ours to feed our neighbors and our friends, and then we can export the remaining portion of it. And we need to make sure that they can be banked and insured through programs like the USDA and expand those. It's incredibly hard for farmers to loan money year over year over year and hope they have a good crop, and hope that they can return a profit, and hope that they can pay the local bank back. So having government-backed loans to help the local banks support our local farmers would be great legislative solutions.
Thank you. Brian?
Well, I think one of the big things we need to do, we need to support our local farmers. We need to give them an outlet to market their crops, to sell them to the community.